Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. What a day, what a day. And yeah, so far it's adding up. In my previous video, I think we had, no, my first video today actually talked still about the triangle. Yeah, I talked about the upcoming breakout and it actually had happened already by the time I had uploaded the video. So this is just now an update afterwards. I think we've got 5 waves up, near enough complete. I think it adds all up very nicely now to a possible 5-wave move up here. We've got the 5th wave quite long. I had a few questions about that. That proportions here aren't correct on this in this impulse, but that's actually not correct. I mean, the proportions are all right. Yes, they are a little bit unusual, but they are not invalid or anything. So we see here a possible impulse, which actually is, as you can see, increasing in momentum as it goes, which is actually quite a bullish signal. We certainly have created a more substantial low of sorts, yeah, here, which is fantastic. That's great information for anybody who is looking to enter any possible long positions here. I mean, for me, it doesn't work anymore to add anything to my positions here, because we've now probably near enough completed this 5-wave move. It can still squiggle a bit higher, but we see already signs of exhaustion I'm going to talk about. But the next point of adding maybe might be down here if we come down in a wave 2, because we have 5 waves up complete. So we could reasonably assume we might get a wave 2 correction in 3 waves. We will form a higher low and then could take off from there. This is not confirmed yet, but if we break below this wave 4 low, which is now at 22,574, it would be a first indication that we are coming down in a wave 2. Now, this is an assumption at the moment. It's way too early to say, is this already the 5-wave move in this 5th wave that we've been waiting for? Yeah. Or is it something different? Is it something corrective? It's way too early for that. What we need to see is 5 waves up, 3 waves down. Then we have a case to make for a 3rd wave up in the 5th wave. I did read it on Telegram earlier, forgot to reply, but you might watch this video. Someone had a question because I've been talking about around about 26k for Bitcoin in this 5th wave. Now that is correct. That is still the view that we should get it if we hold this low and if we break above the wave 3 high. There are a few conditions that need to be met here, which I'm not going to talk about all now, but if this low is holding, then we are expecting a 5th wave to the upside in 5 waves. Now, we talk here about different time frames, so this is now near enough a completed possible wave 1 within this 5th wave. To get confirmation that we are in the 5th wave, we need to hold a higher low in wave 2. I'm going to give you that support area in this video, but it all depends on, are we actually holding a higher low? So this support area needs to hold, obviously, right? Then we will get most likely a 3rd wave to the upside, a 4th and a 5th. Yeah, and so each of these waves have different peaks, and anybody who thinks he or she missed an entry down here, you will have possibly plenty of entry points on lower time frames along this possibly developing impulse. Okay, so if we zoom in now, we can see that the bulls are actually generally quite strong. Yeah, I mean, I said we start to see some signs of exhaustion up here I'm going to talk about, but it also doesn't need to be the case necessarily. Yeah, but we see some initial signs. But what you see is that we had, okay, it started to move up carefully. Correction, that was all CPI, so you can, try to understand what psychologically this all means. I mean, we had a possible diagonal in a wave 1 here in yellow to the upside before CPI. Makes sense, because people were careful, right? Then we saw quite a shakeout in a wave 2 when CPI was released. Nothing significant, though we held the wave 2. Then we rallied quite bullishly in a wave 3. So the bulls are pushing, right? It's actually quite strong, which makes me consider this is actually an impulse and nothing corrective. Then we again consolidated in a wave 4 and pushed again very, very strongly. And this makes me wonder, is this maybe really already the 1st wave within this 5th wave? Because it could really be that the trend here has shifted from this 4th wave into the 5th wave. I mean, the short-term trend is up, certainly. It could certainly be that we are moving up in just something corrective still, right? This is still possible. Just a very, very strange idea that I had is, couldn't this all be a triangle? I mean, if we are in a wave 4, couldn't this just be an A wave of a triangle? We might be moving up in a B wave of a triangle. We'll get a C, D, E, and then rally. That's all still possible. But the strength of this move makes me really think this could be the 1st wave of the 5th. Okay, anybody who entered with me down there, now again, fair enough, I didn't enter Bitcoin, but I did enter Ethereum. No need to worry about it. We can just lean back and relax, right? And maybe add to our positions in a wave 2. So it's all about having that plan, and maybe even in the wave 4. That's sort of what you know, have a plan. Sometimes get a question, is it too late to enter? Well, it depends on your trading plan, yeah? Everybody who's trading should have a plan. If you don't have a plan, make one. Okay, so let's so it's quite bullish, that movement. And also the idea, or the point that wave 5 is quite long is not unusual. Yeah, it's a bit uncommon, but it's not necessarily too unusual, especially not if waves 1 and 3 have nearly the same length. Then you often get an extended 5th wave. Now, if I count the subwaves, I get 5 waves complete for the wave 5. Now, the 5th of the 5th still could push a bit higher. It has now also fulfilled the minimum requirements because it pushed above the wave 3 high. And typically when the wave 3 is not extended, the wave 5 gets extended. And also what we can do, we can calculate, let's see if we get, so one way of measuring target for the 5th wave, 2.618 extension, done. Yeah, okay, so be ready for a possible reversal now at any point, right? From the moment where I said we need to be ready, we haven't really moved too much more, so we need to be ready. Also here, 1.618 extension. If I add it to the wave 4 low, the 1.618 extension is a perfect target for an extended 5th wave. Be ready, I'm just saying. And also, if we now, in terms of signs of exhaustion, we start to see bearish divergences, but I would probably have to go to the lower time frame to actually see them. Again, this is micro counting, so here, a slightly higher high on the price chart, lower high on the MACD, lower high on the RSI. You typically get that towards the end, and I did warn the channel members earlier today that after such an extension, the 5th wave is often a diagonal. It currently seems to become a diagonal, yeah? If we count this as the wave 4 complete, could be pushing up here in the 5th wave, diagonal might be nearly complete, yeah? I don't have enough, you know, I'm not going to count the subwaves on the 5 minute, but this can still push higher certainly, but again, we reached a target, and yeah, it can always extend up further against this 22,580 level. It can still push higher, but it seems to be a diagonal, or we could still be in a wave 4 triangle. Yeah, but that now depends on the further, you know, if we come down now correctively, make a higher low, move up, make a lower high, it's probably a triangle and we get one more push in the 5th wave. But at the moment, this appears to be a diagonal pattern, which always precedes, which always gives you a signal that the following drop should be strong. Yeah, so we are getting towards the end of this, and a diagonal is always giving you the heads up that this is going to get exhausted, this is going to drop soon. Yeah, okay, the exception might be if we get a triangle here. But it's now the point to watch for a possible wave 2 support or breakdown. Yeah. Doesn't say we're breaking down already, but we will if we lose wave 4 support down there, which is, by the way, here the 22,575 level. Now, if we come down in a wave 2, the support should be 21,705 and 22,160. This is the area where I would also try to accumulate Bitcoin again, or ETH, depending on what I want to trade. But this is the area, if we come down, it should hold at least 21,705. If it doesn't do that, this whole pattern will probably break down, and it was in the end not an impulse. It just had the appearance of one. But for now, I think we have a few things that add up here to make the case for a developing impulse. And you know, that's all solid information that you need as a trader, especially that we can be watching for generally for higher against this key low of Monday. Yeah. And then if we now come back in a wave 2, I think this might be another low risk entry in terms of risk to reward. And that's sort of what I'm watching at the moment, right? Also, what you can do, just thinking, channeling, yeah? Add your wave 2 and 4 together. The wave 2 low, let me see if I can actually grab that. Just trying to add a trend line here. Trying to find the best way of doing it. So, yeah, it's not entirely clear because you can draw a trend line here. Yeah, and you get something like this. I'm not sure. Maybe the trend lines don't really give you a very good view here in this scenario, so maybe we just leave it out. But certainly here, keep watching this, yeah, keep watching this, and you might add a local trend line here, and if that breaks, heads up that things are coming down, and then if you then lose the wave 4 low, it's probably overall coming down. So this is all getting very interesting now here on the Bitcoin chart. I think we have some good strength, you know. We have got very, very slightly missed by $20 or so here, the wave 4 support area. But still, yeah, I mean, as you might remember, we have done the minimum of what we needed to do in this wave 4 anyway. I did intentionally move down the wave 4 support area a little bit lower. But in the end, you know, no problem in doing a bit of a shallow wave 4. Up there, when we were up there, I told you we'd probably come down. It would look better. But then we came down, still fairly shallow, that wave 4, but fine, because according to the wave principle, Elliott waves, if the wave 3 is very extended, you can make a shallow wave 4. It's not a problem. But up there, a lot of you will remember when we were up there, it was just too shallow. So yeah, I'm watching now at any moment now for that possible reversal in the wave 2. I'm watching the key support area. That might shift if we get another extension up. I will have to move the support area as well. And then I'll be watching, can we get into this wave 5? So it's getting interesting. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. And also, if you're interested, feel free to check out our trading course on morecryptoonline.com with some Elliott Wave chapters as well. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.